Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm Lynn with Plasma Energy Solution, and this is March 5th, 2021. Our website is plasmaenergysolution.com, and today I just want to, this will be kind of short, but I want to pose a couple of, I want to share a testimonial and then just pose a few questions to you. And this is, okay, I also introduced in the earlier video, and I'll mention it again, our newest never-ending plasma energy solution, positive energy support. So I do hope you'll take time to watch that video and find out everything that we have in it for you. I think many of you who deal with the with people in the public sector might find this to be very interesting and something that could be very helpful for you. All right, so here's the testimonial. I want to mention something that your peace vial and video inspired me to do with the best results I've had so far. I read your intention article and had been thinking about intentions for quite a while. And just as an aside here, I'll tell you that we have a section on our website called Intention, and we've offered several articles and some information about the use of intention, such as that was taught by Neville Goddard in the 50s and 60s, and then the intention that Masaru Emoto, the Japanese scientist, used when he was testing messages on water and then looking at frozen samples of those waters the next day, and he found that the positive messages gave a snowflake effect, and the negative messages, what he was looking at usually was just a disorganized blob. So intention is very important, and on plasmaenergysolution.com I do have some free reports, and one of those is called Water is Memory. Well, water is memory and GANS is memory, so what a powerful combination for us to be using. And we are 70 to 90% water ourselves. So when you think about that, and that we hold the imprint of intention, it's very important to think about what you're doing with and to your body, with what is surrounding you in today's headlines, today's news, and just everything that's going on. So, and I'll go on here then. I said maybe we should aim our attention in preventing people from trying to control and enslave us, which appears to be what they are trying to do. And the individual who sent this continues, and he says, there may be much more to do with intentions that are being manifested now, rather than even superior resources, money, etc. And so he continues to say, I do this by praying to God and using the Holy Grail Vortex prayer that you can find on YouTube against those intentions of theirs. Anyhow, I ask God in the name of Jesus Christ to give us what we need in the water I make the plasma energy pads from and drink. I think this has an even greater effect, that I find a greater effect than the peace vial and the 2020 and the never-ending virus control. I've just added the intention from God to it. My reasoning is that I could pick out something that I thought we needed for my intention, but that God, who sees it all, would be in a better position to know what we need. I suggest you try it and see. And I wrote back to him and said, thanks for your peace intention information. I do use the peace vial twice daily, and here's the intention I use with it. I clear my conscious, unconscious, subconscious, and all that is unlike divine Christ, love, and light goes instantly into the plasmatic field of pure peace and consciousness. All non-beneficial energies and entities are bound and taken into the light. I cherish divine Christ, love, and peace. And then I continue on to say, in my opinion, the reason we have so much fear-based news and activities is to keep people in a state of fear. It keeps you in a fight or flight mode, and it keeps your adrenaline pumping. This has always been the way to control and subjugate human beings throughout history. Think of the energy in a movie theater full of people when they watch something fearful or upsetting. Now contrast that to older movies that were based on positive stories and outcomes. The emotion energy, meaning from people, was different from the fearful, upsetting movie theme. So let me give you an example. Think of the contrast, and I'm going to go way back, of what the energy might have felt like in a movie, say like Sound of Music. And what did the energy feel like in the movie theater with the movie Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock? Case in point. All right, and if you noticed over the more recent years, the movies have gotten, in my opinion, darker and darker and darker in their theme, and more violent in their theme. And I really can't address too much because that's one of the things that's crossed off the list, and for me at this point in time. I can pick up a book and read, and if that book goes south on me, I put the book down and I'm done with it. If you're in the movie theater and that movie goes south on you as far as what it's doing to your energy and how you're feeling right there and how people around you are feeling, well, you do have a choice. I guess you can get up and walk out of the theater. And come to think of it, I don't even know if movie theaters are open. But I'm backdating that just a little before January of 2020. All right. Contrast a society that moves around their daily schedules the way everybody did a couple of years ago. And now take a look at today, and you see people scuttling down the street with face masks on. Sometimes if it's somebody you know, you may not even recognize them. And you see people driving by in their cars wearing a face mask, and they might be the only one in the car. Oh, my goodness. It's complete insanity. Now think of a society where people are willing to have their bodies injected with experimental biologicals that contain fetal cells, dangerous chemicals such as mercury and aluminum and more, and mRNA that will permanently change the DNA of their bodies. Once you do that, there's no going back to who you were prior to that. Their intentions are feeding the negative narrative out there, and the controllers love it. People are overriding common sense with fear. And I have some questions, and somebody raised a good question on something I was listening to. Would people stand in line for a jab that they had to pay for? Let me think about that. But when you say it's free, or when you put monetary incentive on it, oh my gosh, watch everybody line up. Here's some questions I have for you. And I'm not going to apologize if you're offended about the religious aspect of this video. This is where I'm coming from. I'm not telling you that you have to come from my place. I'm just saying this is where I'm coming from. If you take the jab and you die, what happens? Can your family sue the jab company? Or did Congress give them immunity from lawsuits? Will life insurance pay on a policy where a family member willingly took a jab that was an experimental drug? For those of you who are not aware of it, you have entered into an experiment that is going to be, you are a guinea pig and you will be tracked for the next 2 years to see how you react. When you stand in front of your Creator after you leave this life, how are you going to explain the presence of fetal cells in your energy, and that you used your free will to agree with being injected with these fetal cells along with other dangerous chemicals? You might have to explain why you thought it was okay to use your free will granted by your Creator in an action of undoing the perfect gift given to us by the Creator of our very own DNA, because taking an mRNA undid that perfect gift. And I saw an explanation, I've seen it by several different doctors who are speaking out, that when you take foreign proteins into your body as are injected with these jabs, you might have, the first time you do it, a little bit of an anaphylactic shock, and it might be like 0.00001%. You wouldn't even notice it. But the next time you take something, you've set up that condition now of that foreign protein in your body, and now it's going to be a little bigger reaction. And so each time you go out and get something that's a jab of this or a jab of that or a jab of something else, you're building on that anaphylactic shock reaction. Now, for people who've had a lot of jabs, they may take one of the newest jab of this experimental biological and have a very, very severe reaction. Other people might take it and they haven't taken many jabs and they may not show much of a reaction. But there are many researchers out there saying in the next couple of years, you're going to see the very adverse effects of what's going on today with these experimental biologicals. So I do have many free reports, and I will mention one of them is about the 1918 Spanish flu. The Spanish flu. Okay, let's talk about that. In 1918, the soldiers in the U.S. who were stationed in the country or who were already overseas in World War II were vaccinated with some various vaccines that people had never been vaccinated with before. People had never been vaccinated, okay? At the same time, a new wireless energy was rolled out around the world, and you see these all the time. You see the big towers that are standing up with all the wires coming from them. Well, back in the day, the first one to come out was the first thing beyond what went through the telegraph wires. There were reactions to the vaccines that came out and to the wireless technology. And doctors were seeing this set of symptoms, but they were seeing a different set of symptoms over here. Well, you had two industries that came together and said, we don't want adverse publicity, so why don't we put all these symptoms together under one umbrella, and we'll call it the Spanish flu. Well, millions died around the world of the Spanish flu, and somebody could get it in Kansas on Wednesday, and somebody else could get it in South Africa the following Monday. Wow. Now that's a jet flight of a flu. But was it really a flu? One of the things they did was they told everybody to wear masks. so you wouldn't get the Spanish flu. Those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it. All right, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you'll share this with your family and your friends. And please do remember, it's plasmaenergysolution.com, and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.